Imagine you're on a flight to the Middle East, and halfway through, you're told your plane is being rerouted because Iran just launched hundreds of missiles at Israel. Did you know? That's exactly what happened. Iran fired a massive wave of ballistic missiles toward Israel, marking one of the biggest escalations in their long-standing conflict. But what does that mean for travel? How are flights, tourism, and safety impacted by this sudden escalation? In this video, we'll break down how the ongoing Iran-Israel conflict is affecting travelers and what you need to know if you're planning a trip to the region. Let's rewind a bit. The relationship between Iran and Israel has shifted dramatically over the past century, moving from cooperation to intense hostility. Before 1979, Iran and Israel maintained friendly relations. Iran, under Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was one of the few Muslim-majority countries to recognize Israel after its establishment in 1948. The two nations collaborated economically and militarily, especially in the areas of oil trade and intelligence cooperation. The Iranian Revolution in 1979 marked a turning point. Ayatollah Khomeini, the leader of the revolution, declared Israel an enemy of Islam and severed all diplomatic ties. The new Islamic Republic of Iran adopted a staunch anti-Israel policy, supporting Palestinian groups like Hamas and Hezbollah that oppose Israel's existence. This period solidified Iran's ideological opposition to Israel, calling for its destruction. Since the 1980s, Iran has provided military and financial support to groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza, which engage in armed conflict with Israel. Iran's involvement in the Syrian civil war, where it supports the Assad regime, further escalated tensions as Israel regularly strikes Iranian targets in Syria. Iran's nuclear program has been a major source of tension. Israel views the potential for Iran to develop nuclear weapons as an existential threat, leading to a series of covert operations by Israel, including cyber attacks like the Stuxnet virus, which targeted Iran's nuclear facilities, and assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists. Iran continues to assert that its nuclear ambitions are peaceful, while Israel seeks to prevent its weaponization. In recent days, just days ago, Iran retaliated against Israel, launching over 180 ballistic missiles, after Israel allegedly assassinated high-ranking leaders of Hezbollah and Hamas. Both nations have a long history of enmity, but things got serious when Iran vowed to crush Israel for these assassinations. So how does this war in the sky impact you, especially if you're traveling? While flights are being canceled or rerouted, it's not just air travel that's affected by the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel. Ground travel and tourism within both countries are experiencing major disruptions as well. Let's start with Israel. As one of the top tourist destinations in the Middle East, cities like Jerusalem and Tel Aviv are seeing a significant drop in visitors. The Israeli government has issued frequent warnings advising tourists to avoid areas near the Gaza Strip and the Lebanese border, where missile attacks and military operations are more likely to occur. Popular sites like the Western Wall in Jerusalem or the Dead Sea are still open, but travelers need to be cautious and aware of changing situations. Major tourist hubs may still be accessible, but local tours and public transport can be impacted by sudden closures or security measures. Iran, on the other hand, has seen its tourism industry suffer heavily since international sanctions and the rise of internal instability. While sites like Persepolis or Tehran's Grand Bazaar are still open, fewer travelers are willing to visit the country given the escalating geopolitical risks. Visitors who do enter Iran should expect heightened security and possible curfews or restrictions, especially near key military installations or in areas with active protests. Be prepared for roadblocks and checkpoints that could disrupt travel within the country. But what about the impact of this conflict on neighboring countries? Is it still safe to visit regions that are close to the action? Yes, it is still possible to visit neighboring countries that are close to the Iran-Israel conflict, but travelers must be cautious. Countries like Jordan, Turkey, Cyprus, and even parts of Lebanon remain popular destinations for tourists. However, safety levels can fluctuate depending on the situation in the region. For example, Jordan is relatively safe and remains a hub for tourists visiting sites like Petra or the Dead Sea. However, it shares borders with Israel and Palestine, meaning any major escalation in those areas could impact border crossings or travel plans. Similarly, Turkey, while further removed from the direct conflict, sees occasional tensions due to its proximity to Iran and ongoing political dynamics in the region. Meanwhile, Cyprus, a Mediterranean island, remains a safe and stable travel option despite its geographic closeness to the Middle East. Most countries in the Gulf region, like the UAE and Qatar, are considered safe and have not been directly impacted by the Iran-Israel conflict, making them excellent alternatives for those concerned about safety. In short, if you're traveling to countries neighboring the conflict zones, it's essential to monitor local news and travel advisories, register with your embassy for updates, stick to well-known tourist areas, and avoid border regions that are closer to the tensions. First, let's talk about flights. Flights over Israeli and Iranian airspace are facing major disruptions. Airspace over both countries is partially closed, forcing many airlines to reroute. Countries like Jordan and Turkey, often used as layovers for flights heading to the Middle East, are also affected. Question for you: what happens when a major hub like Israel becomes a no-fly zone? Simple: delays, cancellations, and higher ticket prices. Several airlines have already canceled flights, and major hubs are seeing more congestion than ever. If you're planning a trip soon, consider alternative routes or postponing your travel. Check with your airline frequently, as things can change fast in conflict zones. But that's not all. What about those traveling on the ground? Is it even safe to visit places near Israel or Iran? The Iran-Israel conflict doesn't just affect these two countries. Neighboring destinations, such as Jordan, Egypt, and Turkey, have heightened security, and you may notice increased military presence at airports or borders. Tourist hotspots in Lebanon, Syria, and even as far as Cyprus might feel the ripple effects. But here's the thing: some countries are still open for travel, and tourism has not completely halted. However, travelers are being advised to stay vigilant. Avoid border regions, follow government advisories, and always have a contingency plan. So, what's the real impact on tourism in the region? Will this conflict kill the travel industry in the Middle East? Here's the short answer: no, but it's complicated. While Israel and Iran might see a decline in tourists, many neighboring countries like Turkey and UAE could benefit from travelers rerouting to safer locations. If you still want to visit the Middle East, stick to countries with a stable geopolitical climate, like the UAE or Qatar, where you can enjoy rich culture and history without the same risks. But here's the key takeaway: this conflict is still evolving, and things can change quickly. Stay informed. Your safety is more important than the price of a plane ticket. Now you might be thinking, is it even worth traveling to this region with all these risks? If you're set on visiting the Middle East, consider alternative locations that offer a similar experience without the potential for conflict. For example, Egypt offers incredible historical sites like the pyramids, and Turkey provides a vibrant mix of cultures, architecture, and beautiful coastlines. Both countries are currently seen as safe travel destinations despite their proximity to the conflict. Pro tip: always get travel insurance that covers cancellations due to war or conflict. You never know when a situation can escalate and impact your plans. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more travel updates in times of crisis. And if you're wondering how other global conflicts are affecting travel, check out our next video where we discuss safe travel destinations for 2024. Stay safe, and thanks for watching.